Typically, when you go to church, you hear a sermon, you come away feeling discouraged or even worried about your relationship with God, because what you hear at church is, here's 10 commandments, and not only are here 10 commandments, but then Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself, love the Lord with all your heart and all your mind, and you feel like, oh, I don't do that, and you feel condemned because you know you don't measure up to what you're hearing you're supposed to be doing at church. And that's where you learn about God and about what you're supposed to be doing. You don't hear this.
You
don't hear. Why is that?
Let me tell another. Can I tell another story?
Go ahead.
This is my all-time favorite. It's a true story, and it happened when my son was. He's now 19. He's 6'5", and he looks down on his father with great delight. But anyway, he was 6 or 7 at the time, and I was sitting in the den at our house on Saturday afternoon, sorting through junk mail, getting ready to watch a football game. And around the corner, he peered around the corner, 6 or 7 years old, face paint, camouflage, plastic knives, guns, the whole 9 yards. And one of his buddies was with him. And the next thing I know, there's 2 camouflage blurs that just come flying through the air and hit me. And we start horsing around and laughing, and we ended up on the floor in a pile of laughter. And right in the middle of that, I felt the Lord saying, Baxter, pay attention. There's something huge happening here that's very important. And I'm just scratching my head thinking, my dad, his son, horsing around on the floor Saturday afternoon, it's got to be going on all over the planet. What's the big deal? And little by little, it began to dawn on me that I didn't even really know this other little boy. And if you replay the story and you take my son out for a moment, and he's back in the back of the house, and this other little boy walks in the den, camouflaged, the same outfit. He looks at me. He's never seen me. I've never seen him. I didn't even know his name. He didn't know my name. Presumably, he would have thought I was Mr. Kruger. But the last thing he's going to do is come flying through the air and engage me in that kind of intimate, play. But the fact was, my son was there, and he did know me. He knew that I loved him. He knew that he knew that I liked him and that I wanted him. He knew my acceptance. And so in the freedom of that knowledge of my acceptance and that knowledge of who he was and my love for him, he did the most natural thing in the world, which was to engage me. And the stunning miracle that happened that I saw was that I saw my son's freedom with me. My son's knowledge of my heart rub off on that other little boy, and he got to feel it and taste it and experience it with us. It wasn't his, but he got to share in it with us. He got to, it not only rubbed off on him, it was in him, and he functioned from it. So to me, the Lord was saying, that's the gospel. The gospel is the news, and my son in the equation would be Jesus. The gospel is the news that we have a place in Jesus' relationship with his Father. And in the Spirit, he's sharing his own emotions, his own life, his own sense of his Father's presence. He wants us to live in it. Now, religion would be when the boy suddenly gets, whisper comes along and says, but you're really not a part. And so the boy steps over here and he starts thinking, how can I have a relationship with God or how can I, to use the analogy, how can I have a relationship with Mr. Kruger like his son does? And he starts writing down things that he can do that looks like our relationship. The fact is he's included in it, but he's choosing to carve out his own relationship with me rather than to participate. Every religion starts out with that separation, and then is going to prescribe things that you can do to have a relationship with God. When the New Testament's saying the stunning news is that Jesus has come to bring us and to receive us into his life, and that's who we are, and he wants us to participate, bear his fruit of his relationship with his Father. And I think that's the simplest story, but man, is it huge in its implications. We back out and we insist on having our own path to God, our own relationship to God, the way we want it, the way we think it ought to work, the way we read the New Testament, and we're going to go at it that way. When the whole time we've been included in the Son's relationship with his Father. And somehow we get to thinking that dirt can somehow climb into the being of the Trinity. Somehow that we who were fashioned out of the ground can do something to achieve the Holy Spirit, the one single special Spirit in the universe. We're going to do something to achieve that. And that's where religion is, just that constant striving to create a relationship that really is already there and given to us. And it's a function of darkness and blindness.